everybody. My name is Doc Conrad Yugioh, and I got second place at the OTS Championship at GetSomeGames in Charlotte, North Carolina. This video is not only a deck profile, but also an announcement that I am a part of Team House of Cards. I'm officially, a member. I got my buddy, another teammate, John, behind the camera. Say hi, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. So we have, I'm going to go ahead and get into the deck profile real quick, but first I want to give out my shout-outs. Shout-outs to everybody at the team, at Team House Cards. All the people who went, all the people in the Winston-Salem group. I'm not going to name all the different names, in case you want to go ahead and say private, whatnot, whatever. But we will be doing another deck profile of my buddy Steven, who got top 8, and Nick, who won the whole thing. And that's right, Team House of Cards did get first and second place at the OTS Championship, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So first off, I'm going to start with the Mimighouls. We've got 3 copies of Dragon. Best Searcher, best starter for the whole deck. Pretty good. Spell Trap Searcher, Destruction, all good. One of the best targets off of Maker. The other one being Archfiend. I'm running 3 copies. A lot of people don't want to run 3 copies. A lot of people try to run 2, maybe. But I really like 3. The hands in which it's dead is very little, and also it plus another one of these, any of these cards, really, really good. Next, we have 3 copies of the extenders of Mimighoul Fairy. Fairy is very important as an extender, can also be comboed with Archfiend in case you want to get them to activate a card as well. You need that for both the flexibility. Very important. I like it at 3. And then the last 2 are 1 each of Slime and Armor. I was debating on Slime going to 2, but I really liked it at 1 as well as Armor. No matter the search target off of, I'll just go ahead and get out the best one out here off of Maker. The best targets for it include Archfiend and Slime or Archfiend and Dragon, in order for you to go ahead and get pretty much anything that you might need. Very, very important there. But also for the last monster is Mimighoul Master. 1 copy, of course, searchable off of the copy of Mimighoul Throne, which we'll get to in the extra. Only 1 copy of that. But yeah, that is it for the main deck Mimighoul monsters. We'll go ahead and move on to the spell traps in just a moment. We've got, like I said, 3 copies of Maker. This card is crazy. It is the primary card that you want to go ahead and try to resolve as much as possible. Your worst case scenario, of course, is if they activate Impulse on this. But somebody did activate Impulse on me, and it didn't really matter, thankfully. But it is a card that is very dangerous, but not the end of the world, thankfully. You're able to go ahead and go off mostly on combos and set up an end board with not only your monsters on your side of the field, but also provides quite a bit of heavy interaction, just setting them dead cards that they can't use anymore. That we also have 3 copies of Dungeon and 3 copies of Room. This here is the lock. Your main goal is, of course, to get 1 monster set onto their field with Dungeon up, and having the end board of 1 giant, 1 throne, and where are you? Mimighoul Master. So you can not only get a bounce, sorry about that. You can not only get a bounce by attaching it and equipping, you get a lot from that as well. But back over here, we've got Dungeon, preventing your opponent from, normaling, attacking with special summon monsters, and Room, not only being a Book of Moon, non-target, but also a special from deck. Crazy, crazy stuff. Love this engine, love it a lot. 3 and 3, felt really good. Even if you wanted to go ahead and, see less of it, it's still fine to go ahead and set 1 room and have the grind game up where you draw multiple. You don't mind it as much. That's it for the Mimighoul main deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the cards. We also ran the cash package of 2 Unicorn. One of the best extenders for the deck overall. You want to start with this no matter what. It gives you not only an opportunity to look at what your opponent's doing with any of your Mimighoul monster activations, but also has availability to go into your link plays further by bringing out your monsters, linking these off with, you search off the copy of Birth, and this card also being in part Interruption is crazy, and 1 copy of Fenrir in case you go into any other individualistic problems. We'll go ahead and move a little bit further on to cycle with this. we not only have Fenrir and Unicorn, we also have the field spell package of 1 planet. Planet is very important to go ahead and get to any of these, and the way that you get to it is through 2 options of terraforming or something that came up in one of my top 8 rounds, set rotation. Set rotation alongside this and dungeon is crazy. It provides not only, it forces your opponent to immediately interact by sending any of their charmies that they have, any Fualoses, any Perulias. They have to go ahead and activate it in response to this, and you can play around it then, without having to worry about setting up monsters for going your field and then they can do it. Perulia also cooks this deck, so be mindful of that, but this is a good way to go ahead and tell them, no, you can't interact anymore, you can't imperm me, you can't lightning storm me, you can't evenly match me. Crazy, crazy stuff. That is it for the cash package. Overall, I would say that I'm a big fan of the cash package included with anything involved with the Mimighouls. I want to go and play a further cash package later on, but that's more of that's a better one. Let's go ahead and move on to the more the non-engine. 3 cards of Mimighoul Shifter. You got it. I hope they get this banned because I really want to play the Snake Eyes version with all the different monsters that you can go ahead and play as level 1s or with the Souls package, but they don't work with Shifter. And this card is just too good at shutting off your opponent. I like to play more of the grindy matchup. This turns off Veiler, this turns off Droll. You need this because Droll cooks you as well. So it's really important to go ahead and get that set. To go with that Shifter, we have 3 copies of 1 of each of the Bestials. Baldrake, Magnemite, Druis Worm. Druis Worm is weird with Shifter, you know, because if it gets sent afterwards, it's not great. But Mag banished this as a guaranteed Dark Engrave. Search either Dragon, Mimighoul Dragon, or search any of these 2 for further disruption later. Crazy stuff. Love it, love it, love it. I mostly drew Baldrake. I wish I had more copies of Druis, but I like it. I like these overall. Then we have, for the next set of non-engine, we've got 3 copies of Ash. This helps stop Charmies. This helps stop as generic, any sort of generic interruption. It was very important round 3 when I went against Tempai. They broke my whole board with everything. LS, Lightning Storm. They had Lightning Storm. They had Raigeki. They had Feather Duster. They had just about everything. And then afterwards, they activated 1 Kaiman and I ashed it, and they went, okay, you got it. So that's pretty good. Pretty good card overall to stop that. You do have a good time against Tempai specifically, because not being able to have a normal and special summon can't attack, pretty good. 3 copies of Imperm, despite the anti-synergy as well with the Bestials, and the Bestials are very interesting, because there are times in hands where you will draw the Bestials, and you also have a cash should start, and you wonder if you should interrupt with a Bestial or if you should go for the cash stuff. But I still think it's worth it to go and keep them in. Imperm is another card that's kind of like that. It's just one of the best, like, you know, it doesn't turn on Talents, doesn't turn on Thrust. Really good, like it a lot. And yeah, just a good generic non-engine. And then 1 Called By, of course. And we'll do also the Talents package and Thrust package. If I were to change anything about the list, I would probably cut out one of these. The only reason why is because there was a time in the finals where I was against my buddy where I did end up drawing 2 of these in a row and no way to interact to make my opponent go, so it was very difficult. But 4 is still pretty good. I like it a lot. Maybe cut down to 1, but still 46 card list, with the final card being a copy of Angel Statue Azuroon. Good off of that, getting Rabbit for Spell Trap interruption. Pretty good stuff. And I alluded to a lot of the extra deck stuff, so let's go ahead and get that ready. We have, for the Mimighouls, 2 copies of Giant and Throne. You only really need 1 Throne. You do need multiple copies of Giant. Giant is very good. It being a burn card, it being able to finish out games, it being a searcher. Fantastic. And allowing your Mimighouls to attack directly didn't matter so much this tournament, but really want to go ahead and see these quite a bit. You want to be able to go and overlay all of them. Very cool stuff. Throne, There have been times where I already have Master in play thanks to having a copy of Slime bring out Master, and I'm able to break Throne, bounce 2 non-target, which is crazy. Love this card a lot. For the other rank ones, we have a number 13 Embodiment of Crime. I've made this once, was impactful, allowed for more interaction, allowed for me to turn on talents without just the ones, without having access to Archfiend. Having one of these is important, I do think, unfortunately. I bit the bullet, I bought one, and I'm cool with it though. This is your Zoo starter, and this is also your Tempai protection. These 2 monsters help quite a bit when it comes to dealing with Tempai, dealing with any sort of general like combat-related things, and getting into Zeus. Speaking of 1 Downerd and 1 Zeus. Being able to overlay into any of these going into Zeus feels great. There was a time where I actually set up a format Zeus with Typhon on field because they needed to go through both, and they couldn't, and they scooped up at that point. So even if they got rid of one, they couldn't deal with the other, and I'm cool with that. So that's it for the Xyz. Now onto the links. We've got 1 copy of Anima. This card is mostly used to facilitate a copy of SP Little Knight, but still very important to go ahead and utilize. Helps with, stealing, all that sort of stuff, zone placement. Only targets face-ups, so it does not work with your Mimighouls. You can't, set something to their field and then take it afterwards. You can't do any of that. SP, really good at either clearing your field or helping with just taking care of miscellaneous back row. I was considering Nightmare Phoenix, but I ultimately decided that SP was more generic and better available. I might have swapped out a Typhon, depending, but still felt really good to go and take care of overall. We have IP to go into SP as well. You sometimes have just extra bodies you can utilize, and that's a good one to go ahead and go into. Another option is Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit is very good overall generic link to. You want to go ahead and see it. Feels great in Mimighouls. Having more stuff to set up if you have a full hand of gas. This is around what you go for. You go for this card. Sometimes you go into IP. It all depends on what you think the matchup is going to look like. And then the Goddess package. I did go into Closed Heaven. I did activate Moon. It did feel good the first time for doing this into this. It did not feel great going into just this. I ended up throwing my last match by just going into this and not having enough buys to kill for game, and then kill me in the crackback. But we'll talk about that later. Maybe. And then we've got here for the side deck, 3 copies of Nib. Once again, unfortunately, does turn off the caches, but still, I think it was overall necessary, depending on the types of matchup I'm facing. If I face any Centurion, I felt like this was a pretty good one to go ahead and face, or any further Whitewoods matchups. I only ran into Whitewoods, didn't run into Centurion, so not the greatest. 3 copies of Droll. Eventually I want to go ahead and run a deck that is more fun, where you have Where Art Thou, with this being a level 1 that you can search, alongside this and DD Crow and Mag Souls. But I went and tried to go serious in this one, and 3 copies of Droll felt great. Didn't come up too often, but still it was one card that I feel like citing nearly every single matchup. We've got 2 copies of Hank. Never drew it, never saw it, still felt good that it was in there. Just having generic interruption for when you have to go first, and also gets rid of itself, so you can go and clear the way for your Kashtira monsters. Feels good. And then the rest of these are technically thrust targets. So we've got 2 copies of Dark Ruler. Never sided this in, didn't feel that great, didn't feel that confident doing that, but still, well worth it, the versatility, alongside a copy of Harvey's Feather Duster. I would have considered probably swapping these 3 out, or maybe just these 2 out for Cosmics, and alongside another one of these sets of other targets, the D-Barriers. I've opened up 2, I've opened up this, and I've even gotten a second one off of Thrust. Different Dimension Ground. This card is what won me my top 8 matchup against Snake Eyes Fiendsmith. And for Tempai, 1 copy of Roar.
Feels good to go ahead and just say I'm blanking a battle phase. I don't need to worry about it against Tenpai. Did not come up. I only faced against one Tenpai this matchup, but it did feel good to go ahead in this overall. And that is everything for the deck profile. I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out once again to everybody who supported me at House of Cards. Thank you, my lovely partner, for supporting me through this whole thing. Love you. And yeah, with all that being said, thanks for watching, and take care, everybody. See you.